This portion of the Brooklyn Cafe Show is brought to you by Lorena Anderson, the Energy Boss.
Hi everyone, Lorena Anderson, the Energy Shifter, otherwise known as the Energy Boss. And I'm thrilled to have you here today. We're going to talk about joy. You know, it's kind of funny because somebody had written to me on LinkedIn and said, why is it that you're never smiling on your segments? And I'm going, that's pretty interesting. I said, because I've got serious topics. You know, I want to help, I want to move people, I want to allow them to know that there's help, that there's more to their life than being stuck in self-sabotage and excuses and et cetera, et cetera. So today we're going to talk about joy, okay? First of all, the difference between joy and happiness. Happiness is based on people, places, and things. So it elicits a response within your nervous system, within your energy field, which is absolutely wonderful. With joy, it happens naturally. It's an empowerment. You don't necessarily need people, places, or things, circumstances to elicit that feeling from within. Now, we can use happiness and those memories to be able to feel that in the body, to activate that internal energy field, and allow that happiness sensation to manifest itself within our nervous system. However, with joy, joy is the light within you. Joy is a radiance about you. You know, you can walk into a room, you don't even need to say a word, but you're vibrating at this higher frequency of which is joy. And that joy can not only fill you up, people feel it around you because it's in your energy field. And a lot of times when you're vibrating at that higher frequency, when you're feeling that joy just being alive, people are naturally radiated to you. They want to be around you because it feels good. Joy gives you this almost euphoric feeling within the body. And that joy is your light. And that light radiates when you're in that space of joy. So sometimes we have to allow the happiness to elicit that joyous feeling, but I'm going to make a couple more suggestions. One is start your day with joy. What I mean by that is when you wake up in the morning, don't necessarily pick up your phone, start checking the news, turning on the TV, seeing what's happening out there in the other world. Stay within yourself. Go into the bathroom, into the mirror, and look at yourself and smile. Smile, because it feels good. Notice, I don't know of anybody who smiles who doesn't feel it in their beingness, in their face, in their heart. So smile at yourself and say, good morning, how are you? Did you get a good night's sleep? Because you would do that with somebody other than yourself if you're living with someone. Your boyfriend, your husband, whatever, your dog, your cat. I talk to my cat all the time. You know, did you sleep good? Meow, meow. And then I hear nothing but whining and complaining from her because she's hungry. So she's a great alarm clock. Another thing to do is notice where you put your attention. You know, we move our energy based on our attention, our breath, and movement. So notice where you put your attention, because wherever you put your attention, that's going to grow. Notice your beliefs that you carry about yourself and who you are and how you impact other people, because that has a vibrational frequency to it too. And if you're having a little difficult time trying to activate that joy, think about the people that you impact, the smiles that people give you because you have said something kind, you've helped someone. Notice that and allow yourself to feel it. You know, sometimes it's called wise selfishness, because that wise selfishness you get to feel. So anytime you're having a tough time with being able to tap into that joy, think about someone who loves you. And I want you to envision their eyes looking into yours. Because when you look into another person's eyes, you can feel the love, and that love connects you to the joy within. So if you're having any difficulties whatsoever, please give me a call. I'm here to help you. I want you to live the rest of your days in joy. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have good and bad days, but when you elicit joy, your bad days are going to feel so much better because you're going to be able to manage it. It's not going to take you down for days or months, or sometimes for some people, years. So give me a call. My office number is 954-647-5525. Or you can email me at la@ishiftyourenergy.com, or visit my website, ishiftyourenergy.com, because I'd love to shift your energy. And you know what they say also, I've got a little tagline, shift happens. And when your shift hits the fan, honey, I'm your plan. So give me a call.
Find your joy.
Find your joy.
Are you joyful?
All the time. There's different levels.
That's your middle name is Joy.
But there's different levels of joy, yes?
Of course there are. Yes.
You could be high end, you could be low end.
Well, you know something? If you're having trouble being joyous, just start with being calm, quieting the mind, be peaceful.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Change your chair.
Change
Sit
it.
in 5 different chairs a day.
You and
That's
Goldilocks.
That's my motive.
Well, luckily you have plenty here.
Well, I have to try them all. Because every place in this place, I think of something different. They make fun of me because they do not understand. See, they don't understand my joy.
But they don't need to.
Yeah,
But you know
that's
what they
true.
do?
They complain.
No, they never complain.
No, you know what they tell me? Why don't you go sit in that chair? You ain't been there for 2 minutes.
We just like to tease you. You bring us joy.
See, that's
You
my
bring
joy.
me joy.
You bring us joy, actually.
Uh-huh.
Did you know that?
Why, I move around too many chairs?
You make us laugh. You bring us joy.
Yes.
You know, being laughed at is not joyous.
We're not laughing at you.
You ain't laughing with me.
We're laughing with you, honey.
You do.
As
You bring
always.
you bring us joy, which is so interesting. It has not been the easiest of years for me. When I lost my dad in 25. And I remember at some point, a couple months into it, I said, I just want to find my joy. And it was before the baby was born, because then I kept saying, I'm going to call her Joy. I said, her middle name is going to be Joy, because she will bring joy to so many people, because we've been so sad. But it's funny that you bring that up. It wasn't like I'm looking for my happiness. I was looking for joy.
Yes.
Which was just a different feeling.
Yes, it's an internal feeling. Okay? You don't need circumstances out here. The other thing, too, joy connects you to your soul. And when you're connected to your soul, that also allows you to elicit this radiance of your light. And light and joy are connected, And there's many people out there also that are light workers, meaning that they hold that light, the radiance of their light inside. And no matter what they do, where they go, how they do things, they're always showing up with that radiance, and they're always willing to help. That's my whole passion, is how can I bring joy, back into your life.
I was watching something it might have been yesterday morning on TV, about people having a hard time sleeping. And the doctor was talking about rewiring your brain when you go to sleep. And I remember when my kids were little, I would have them do this. Write 3 things down that brought you joy.
Oh, I love it.
Before you go to bed. Because this way you go into bed not aggravated by what you saw on TV or not how things might have transpired. You actually have to consciously think about 3 things that brought you joy, or you brought joy to somebody before you go to bed. And he says that it rewires your brain to that state of peace and calm and joy.
Well,
so you don't have these disruptive things that wake you up in the middle of the night.
Yes. The other thing, though, too, is that not only writing these down, but feel them in your body. Where do you feel joy in your body? I mean, because you have the ability to elicit that feeling whenever you want, because you are the master of your own body. You are the master of your own joy. You are the master of your own life. So you can elicit that feeling. Write it down, absolutely. I call it emotion, energy in motion. Write. I've just finished telling one of my other clients, I want you to write this down. You know, he wanted to make sure that he was doing a positive follow through and follow up on his customers. And I said, okay, get yourself a binder and get yourself a really nice pen and something that you're really proud of that feels good. And I said, I want you to write down these names of the people that you were with. And in 2 days, I want you to put down whether or not you followed up. But you want to be able to feel that, you know, energy in motion, emotion. And that was really beneficial for him, you know, because you can see it in black and white. It's always there with you. And you don't have to open up your iPad or your computer or whatever and put in all your passwords and then finally find the PA. No, just take that book. Just open it up, you know, and then follow through.
They say there's a different feel from your brain to hand to pen to paper than brain to putting it in your phone. It's a different sync. It's a different emotional state.
Yes.
That people have. So Sophia.
I was trained to always have paper.
Right, Sophia always has a paper and pen.
Yeah, and you write everything. I was trained to sales. I was trained, everything I did, whether it was a napkin, it didn't matter. I used to write deals on napkins. It didn't matter because it was the pen to the paper. And people would look at that. They were looking at, it's called the Abraham Lincoln approach because he used to talk that way. And he used to do it that way. And the interesting thing that she talked about, writing the 3 things down, I tried that and I was up all night wondering if I wrote 3 things down that were really important to me.
But it's okay. It's the first 3 things that come to your mind that you feel brought you joy.
That doesn't work for me.
Well, you know what's really interesting is that the first things that come up into your mind, that's your internal intuition speaking to you. All right? It's not your head. It's your heart, because joy lives in your heart. So when you're thinking of the 3 things that brought you so much wonderful joy, it's coming up from your heart. It just has to go into your head because you got to decipher it. You know, you have to decode it, and then you have to, you know, write it down and everything. But that's all coming from your intuition, from your heart.
Giving to somebody and watching the happiness and the joy it brings is probably easier for me to reflect on than wondering what the hell makes me happy. Because I could be happy 1 second and then be unhappy the next.
Well, we might have to work on
that. Do you really think you're unhappy at times?
Sometimes. But there's different reasons I'm unhappy. Yeah, I got up this morning and I was feeling, and I didn't sleep at all last night, don't ask. And I got up and I'm doing, and on my phone, I see the Willie Colon passed. And all of a sudden, my brother's sitting next to me. So I don't know if you see on TikTok that they show shows where the guy was 24 and he's 78 now. Sometimes they have wings because they moved on to heaven. All of a sudden, my brother and his wings are sitting next to me. And Willie Colon and all the conversations we had about Latin music and all those things in the past. Now, that's a different type of not happy. That's joyous.
That is joy, because what you've done is that you've allowed the memories to infiltrate you. And that has a physical sensation to it. And what you were doing, it's okay to mourn somebody who's no longer there. That's an emotion. You know, we came into this world to experience all of our emotions because we can't do that in heaven.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So we're here to experience all that. It's whether or not you get stuck in it and you can't move out of it, and all of a sudden your life starts deteriorating because you're stuck in this sorrow and this sadness and you can't seem to find a way out. That's when you go back into the memories that you did have with that individual and allow yourself to feel that sensation, because the emotions, they don't know if it has happened 10 minutes ago or 20 years ago. Right. The emotion is the same, and we can elicit that whenever we want. So it's the ability of going and enjoying. Oh my God, I was sitting there with my brother. I had such a great time. It felt so good. Oh, wait a minute. I feel it now. I feel that memory now. And what a great time that was.
See, that's you shifting it.
Yes.
Because I didn't go through that.
That's me shifting.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I don't ever think, of course, when my dad passed, I was sad, that I'm unhappy during the day. I may be not feel well, I may be tired, I may be irritated with something or someone, but I don't ever think of myself as unhappy. I may be sad, but the unhappy emotion, until you said it,
triggered you?
It makes me think I'm not really unhappy.
You're not unhappy.
But you said there are things that make you unhappy.
No, there are things that make me less joyous. Just
But you didn't
less
say
joy.
that. You said unhappy. So I'm
Oh,
sitting here thinking,
yeah,
like,
you
what would
did.
make me unhappy? I have a lot of emotions, but I don't think it's unhappy.
Well,
Isn't
when
that
something doesn't
interesting?
work in
Things
the
to think
studio,
about.
it makes me unhappy. Not because it doesn't work, but because my DNA is programmed that this is the minimum. Everything works.
See, I might
love it
say
when
I'm
everything
upset, I'm
works.
frustrated, but I wouldn't label it as unhappy. It just means you and I label our emotions differently, which is interesting, right?
It is very interesting.
I think
thought.
unhappy is a more powerful emotion than.
Interesting. I know, I'm all up in my head with my words, but
And you get all complicated.
Now I have to sit here and
Now-
think myself. Have I ever been unhappy?
we're going to have to think about this next week, Lorena.
Yeah.
More to come.
Everybody's
go.
had a moment of unhappiness.
Sure, but
Yes.
overall, day to day, I wouldn't say
There
I'm
are
unhappy.
moments. There
I
are
might be
moments.
sad.
I can point them out to you.
But I don't know if it's
Unhappy.
unhappy. But it's sad,
I'm going to ring the bell.
frustrated.
Every time you're unhappy, I'm going to give you a little bell.
I don't know. We
Oh,
gotta
I
think
like
about
that. Yes,
It's a whole
yes.
conversation. All right, how do people reach you?
Oh, please give me a call. At my office, it's 954-647-5525, or email me at la@ishiftyourenergy.com, or my website. You can get me there too at ishiftyourenergy.com. Give me a call. I want to shift your energy, honey. No more shifting happens unless it's positive and in your well-being.
And of all the years that I've known her, probably the least person I've never seen smiling and always joyful. She takes breaking a glass on the floor as a sign. Oh, that's a good thing. Don't worry about it. Everything with her has always been on a higher energy level. Ever since I've met her, she's always been that way.
She shifts
Can't
your
s-
energy.
Can't say the same thing about me, but
Find your inner joy. All right, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we've got Tammy Hernandez, host of Tammy Time, joining us, and I'm sure Gizmo has to be here. I don't see the tutu yet, but we'll see if maybe she brought it in. More to come on the other side of this commercial break and the 1 o'clock hour.